Hi everybody, can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for joining the session. So basically, any questions from our previous session?
I was just wondering if you can send us with the recording the data sheet you have so we can practice on it, if that is possible.
The discussion Excel sheet you're talking about?
Yeah, the Excel sheets you practice, you do the class on, if you can send it to us also, so we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So today we looked at some couple of more functionality, and then we'll move ahead. So basically, if you get a data something like this, so generally organizations or your database might also have this kind of a data, where you have the salesman name, region, LOB, salesman ID, right? And his targets, so the salesman ID targets for month on month. So for every month there is a column, so Jan to August, now it is there. Now if you want to do analysis, suppose you have your sales data, right? So you will have your sales data as invoice, date, and amount, right? Now if you select a month, right? So month. When you select month, suppose you select month Jan, so this column of Jan has to be selected and analysis has to be done on Jan. What I mean is you'll have to do a sum of Jan. Now technically it's very difficult to do this when it is in this format. So when it is in this format is called as a cross table format, where you have like the facts in a cross table, like you have the attributes, one of the attribute values in a as multiple columns. Now it's very difficult to link this month to the month over here, right? So I can link the sales ID to sales ID, but it will become very difficult for me to link the month. So when a user selects Jan, so everywhere it has to pick Jan and do the calculation. When the user selects April, it has to take April. So it is pretty difficult for any kind of analytical tool to use this kind of data and run it. So what generally tools do is we convert this data. So what do we do? Suppose if this Sunil is one of the employee or one of the salesmen, I will take all the data from Jan to August, okay, and create multiple rows with the right data, right? That means I'm going to convert the columns into the rows. So I have the columns, so Jan, Feb, March, or over here I'm going to cover it. Now my headers are going to change similarly as month. I'll name this as month and name this as target, right? So I can link salesman ID and month to my fact table or my actual fact table, and then when a user selects a particular month, the data for that particular month will be filtered based on this selection, and then the analysis will be easy, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I mean, this is what the best solution is to do be it in database or even in a query language. I think like if you want to build a data warehouse or data model, right? So this kind of data has to be converted into this format. This is like a normal format. So this is a cross table format, right? And this is a normal format. Now to do this, generally in query, you will end up writing a lot of loops, or you'll have to put it under a lot of loop and you'll have to convert it. I think nowadays in SQL also you're getting some keywords to do it. But in QlikView, it's not that complicated. Right, pivot, yeah. Now in QlikView also you have some easy functionality that you can use and do it. Like if I start off with, so I'll select the Excel file or the QED file. Right? This I can't do it directly from the database. I have to bring this into our data and then I have to write. I can do it from the database. Only thing is I'll have to write the syntax myself. The wizard won't allow me to do it. But when I'm selecting it from a QED or an Excel file or any other flat file, I can use the wizard. So this is a wizard, right? So it shows me what all to select. So all the sheet names, sheets are nothing but tables in QlikView. So sheet 1, embedded labels. So because the first row has labels, so I'll continue with this. I'll say next. This enable transformation. Next. Now here last time we saw where clause. Or here, like I told here, there's something called as cross table that you can utilize. You click on the cross table and you understand which is the. Now this is your table, actual data table. In this cross table, you'll have to specify which are the qualifier fields. Qualifier fields are nothing but the fields that you don't want it to be oriented or changed, right? Basically these first 4 fields, I don't want them to be transposed or changed. They have to be the same way. So these are static fields. The attribute field, so the top one, Jan, Feb, March, the green one, what do you want to name? So I'll say I'll name it as month, right? And the data field, so over here, what do I want to name the data field? I will name this as target. So QlikView will create the script, and when I reload it, it will bring in those lines. I'll have one final table with the transposed data, with the converted data. So I have the salesman name, region, LOB, ID, month, target. So whenever you have this kind of cross table data, it's always better to convert it into this format so that the associative property of QlikView, right, will be more more better when you have this kind of data.
It's like you have done it like from columns you have made as rows. Is it possible from rows to make columns?
Actually, I mean, for that there is no keyword, so it's the same logic. You'll have to write a script with multiple left joins. So that's the only method. In the UI, you can easily create like pivot tables. You have pivot table chart where you can create pivot tables. In the script, if you have to do it, then the only method is to
generally it is for display purpose, for like I have used that kind of thing generally for displaying purpose only.
Yeah, so in the UI you can do it.
Okay. Yeah. That looks good. Thank you.
Okay. So now this is called as cross table. Today I'll be a little quick, I think, because surprisingly there has been power outage from yesterday. So yesterday end of session also there was no power. I mean my battery was turned off. Today surprisingly again there is power outage. I might be able to continue for another 15-20 minutes. So maybe if I drop off, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, sorry, I am not sure why this sudden power outages are there. Hopefully it is for 1 or 2 days only. Okay, So that was the cross table. We'll look at something called as hierarchy. So hierarchy is nothing but like who is reporting to whom, right? So let me just load an employee QED. I will share this QED and the cross table file also with you. So don't worry about that. Now let's see the data how it is. Okay. So I have 296 records in this table. Then in this table we have employee business entity ID, parent employee business entity ID, right? So this is like an employee database. What employee business entity ID is nothing but the employee ID. The parent employee business entity ID is nothing but who this employee is reporting to. Suppose if I select 72, 72 is reporting to 71. So the 72 employee is T1. Now who is T1 reporting to? I just have to search for 71. So let's sort this. We'll have more clarity. So here if you look at it, so 71, 72 is reporting to 71 and 71 is nothing but Michael. 71 is reporting to 26. Now who 26 is reporting to, you'll be able to find out in the same file. What happens is, suppose if you want to find out the manager of this particular person, so you'll have to, like the technical method to do is, use the parent employee business entity ID, use the employee business entity ID, do a join, you'll get to know the next level manager name. Now what if you want to find out till the lowest level, so you want to find out the reporting hierarchy from the top to the lowest for every employee. That means if I take the lowest possible employee, I want to go till the highest who he reports to. Whatever number of levels he is, I want to know all the managers' name, all the levels he is reporting to, and whatever their names are. Now you'll end up writing a loop, so you'll have to write a couple of loops or left joins that will give you that method. Otherwise, I mean the joins again were ambiguous because you don't know how many times you have to do the join. So in QlikView it is a little simpler, or they have again created a like understanding these kind of logics. This is not only an employee, if I have to say, it is even for material management in SAP, where one material is created out of 2 or 3 materials, and those in turn materials are created out of a couple of other materials. And in the material management table, you will exactly have this kind of data on. You will have employee data, and you will have, I mean, the parent material and the child material. So you'll have to keep looping to find out. Now the biggest challenge is you will never know how many times to loop it. So in QlikView again it's the same thing, table files. Like I said, you can load it from QED or Excel file. So next, over here like the cross table, you have something called as hierarchy. You select hierarchy. It will allow you to pick the fields that you want to build the hierarchy for. ID field, so that's employee business entity ID. Parent ID field is the employee parent business entity ID. That's the employee ID and the manager ID. Which field do I want to take the name from? So first name, so to build the parent employee entity. Along with this, I can pass on few hierarchy parameters. So I can say parent name, I'll say reporting manager. So it will create a reporting manager. Path name, I'll just name it as path. You'll get to see what the path. Depth. Path source, I want to create the path using the first name. The delimiter, I'll put a /. You'll get to know what it is. Next, finish. A script is generated. Somehow there is a bug in this. What happens is this delimiter has to be in single quotes. and also the path. Yeah, the depth always gets missed out. Now what QlikView did was it created a table, or created basically, I'll just say add all. So for every employee, QlikView looped itself and created the level of reporting columns. So the highest level of reporting in the organization is 5 levels. So there are 5 columns. The reporting manager name it took, the path it created, and the depth of every employee that he is there. So to be more precise, I'll delete a few more departments. Start and so if you see now clearly, for, I don't need even the title, I think. For this employee business entity 88, he is reporting to 87. So it starts from here. So he is at the 4th level of reporting at the organization level. Bestie is at the 4th level, reporting to Christian reporting to Peter reporting to Ken. And the path is also created using the same ideology with the segregation of, with the separation of like the forward slash. And I also get the immediate reporting manager name. Now this depth shows me how many levels this employee is at, right? So I can easily see who is the highest level. Now if you want to see the highest level of depth, if you sort it by depth, right, so you'll get to see the highest level of reporting in this organization is 5 levels. So QlikView you didn't have to mention how many times to loop or check or what. QlikView automatically looked at the, while reading the data, loaded it, looked at how many levels, and it created those number of columns it is required to. So the parameters are simple. So you just have to give the parent employee business entity ID. What is the field that you want to use to create this column? So I get first name. If you use last name, it will create these 5 columns using last name. So whichever field you choose, that is the field that will be used to create these number of columns plus the path and the reporting manager, right? Now what is the use of this path? Basically it's like a tree view kind of a view. And when we discuss list box, we'll understand the properties. There is an object in the UI. Right click, new sheet object, list box. Under list box, I will select the field path. Okay. Now when I select the path, it will give me the list, all the unique paths that are available. These are all the unique paths. Now, what I can do is, because every path will be unique because for every employee. In the same properties of the list box, there is something on the bottom called as show as tree view. So I'll have to select this, and it will ask what is the separator. Whatever separator I use in my script, right, that is the separator that I'll have to specify over here. So I'm using forward slash. I used a forward slash over here. Say okay. Now this list box becomes like a tree view. So whoever is reporting under whom, so that kind of a tree view. So this is called as a tree view for a list box. It's a very helpful feature. When you work for manufacturing, I am sure this is, in every organization for HR department, it is definitely useful. Now, for your, if you have this kind of a table for your students, then I think it is even more helpful. You can apply this concept for your students table.
The thing is, but I can to make it for the like more complicated. The problem is that dimensions, the teacher and students, class and classroom. There has to be the slowly changing dimensions. So it gets a bit complicated. Now what you have is now a snapshot, right? It's current the structure. But also I have to represent the historical changes as well at the same time. So yeah. So I'm thinking through, but in the future I might ask questions. I'm actually trying to have a test data, set up test data and try myself, see how I can handle. Yeah. I will have once I have questions I will ask in the future. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and in manufacturing fields, it is definitely highly important, this kind of feature. Like I said, for material management, they have to work for something like this. The thing is, even if it is columns, QlikView will create those 100 columns, 100 levels of those columns. So that's the best part of this function. You don't have to worry about how many columns has to be created. That's the cross table and hierarchy. To overall look at what all we have done. So script editor, relative paths. So just let me know if you have any doubts in these topics that I'm marking. Reload is nothing but the normal reload. Where exist is cross table mapping. Okay, so this is something that we will do now. But let's go back to our script. This is our data model script. So over here I'm doing a lot of data modeling and everything. So now let's take this interval description, right? This interval description table. I'm just gonna take this table. This table, this interval description table is a common table for all of my scripts. Suppose in an organization, I'm developing 10 or 15 different applications. This interval description table is like a standard table. I can put this to an Excel file, okay, and call the Excel file everywhere in the application. So that is by default the functionality. Using this as an example, I'll show how to use it in a source script. So you remember our folders, right? So in our folders that we created, okay, I think I'm running low. I might survive for another 2 minutes. So you remember this external script folder, right? Over here, script folder. In this script folder, I will go ahead and I will just store it as text. I'll create a notepad, save as. I'll make this as a generic script. It's like a common script now. I have stored it in the script folder, says interval script. In my application, I will not write this script. I will just go ahead. On top there is insert. There's something called as include statement. I will say include. I will pick up, so it is directly pointing me to that. Okay, this is not pointing to our training session. It is pointing to a different one. I'll pick up the interval script. So QlikView will automatically put up an include statement with a vast script in it. Now this script, when I execute this table, QlikView will read through that script. So if you look at the interval description, it fetched the 6 lines from the inline table that is there in the script. Like this, I can call this script multiple times at multiple places, right? So I just can use this include statement, put this up in multiple pages if I want to. right? Like this, like this. I'm not rewriting the entire script. Imagine if the script is very big. I'm not rewriting. So if you look at it, interval description 1, interval description 1, and interval description 1. So it loaded thrice that file. So that's the way that you'll, the include statement work. That's why we put this file. Now as a script, right, now you have created this script. So you created a test table. Now this is your global script. So wherever you want to run this script, this is what you have done. So what in QlikView they have given is file, export to script file. So you have an option where you can export the entire script into a script file. I will save this to a script file. In my script folder, this is. Now I can share this script to you. All you have to do is open a new QlikView document and use this hierarchy on. Let me just quickly start one new one. I can just put that entire script into an include statement. Right? Save this. Okay, reload. The entire script in that include statement is going to be executed. So this is how you create common scripts. So these are like snippets or stored procedures, whatever you want to name it as, and you can keep calling them in using the include statement. So include statement is basically used for that. And I think my system is going to die in another minute or so. I would suggest you go ahead and practice the cross table and hierarchy. I will forward the files that I've used in the cross table and the hierarchy table. You have any questions?
Maybe after practicing.
Okay. Hopefully this power will not be. Power outage is temporary. So if my laptop is not with the icon, my available. Okay, so I'll forward the files to you. Please practice, and then probably we'll meet tomorrow and discuss in detail. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.